my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna take, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche.
Hello, hello, hello. Shit, I don't even act like that. But look at you.
I wasn't even paying attention.
I know until you're like, oh. good, good morning, everybody. Good morning, LTT, Jordana, Mackenzie, CJ. How's everybody doing today?
Morning.
I hope everybody's doing great. I'm just gonna pop on live before I go to bed, because I do have to go to bed soon. Because I gotta get up and go to work and do it all over again. Oh, yeah.
Hi, CJ, Mackenzie, Georgette, Little Texas Tornado.
Oh, I know. Woo! Man,
How's we doing? Hey, Rocco.
what we doing? Hey, Rocco. We're doing good. I just thought, talk a little bit about addiction this morning, I guess,
Yeah.
because it's been, hot on the YouTube streets lately.
I haven't really
It was
paid
quiet.
attention, so you have to make sure you fill me in.
Do what?
You got to make sure you fill me in.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, look. Hey, Chaos Queen.
Hey,
It was on Tony's yesterday.
I wasn't there, so let me know, please.
I know. I watched most of it. I had to shut it down and go to sleep, but it was, Susan's been doing more of her shit, right? twisting things. And I guess it was towards Tony and Jill this time, you know. Which, you know, addiction, no one is off limits. If you are involved in an addict's life, you will become the target eventually. That's just the way it is, you know? And Susan's not doing anything that she hasn't done over the last 4+ years. You know, my first experience with her was when she was on panel with Molly.
I didn't watch her back then.
Oh, I saw it firsthand because I was watching Molly back then, you know. She had a twin sister, the evil twin sister, and I was like, what the hell, you know? She did the whole taking her own, you know, life thing scenario then too. Like, you know, it's the same old, same old. And I knew then. I was like, oh, she's got some issues here. Something's going on. And I do personally think that it's more than just alcohol. And then, you know, I watch it and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I've never been one. I was never in her Discord, in her calls. I'm in her Discord, but I'm in her Discord, but I've never been on calls, anything like that. Because like I said before, I have to stand back. You know, I know firsthand how that shit goes. I don't have the energy for it. You know what? I commend. There was a few people who were in there with her for years, and have really truly tried to support her. Right. And sadly, they've had to, very quietly, they backed away. And it's sad, you know, but I mean, that's just the way it goes. She makes her own choices, her own decisions. And,
exactly right.
You know, I know they were talking about rock bottom. Let's make it perfectly clear, guys. Nobody knows what her rock bottom is, and you can't even begin to guess, because guess what? She doesn't know what it is. You'd be surprised how many times you sit back and you see what somebody's rock bottom is. It is not anything you ever imagined it to be. Crazy how it works. You know, I've seen people, well, my rock bottom was this. I'm like, wait a minute, but it wasn't this? This was your rock bottom? But that wasn't, you know? Right. So only she'll know what her rock bottom is when she finally gets there. And for her sake, I hope that she, you know, I hope she reaches it soon. I do. And you know what I always pray for is not just sobriety, but to maintain sobriety, because maintaining is the hardest part. I mean, that's so difficult. Everyday challenges.
Yeah, you take every day, every minute at a time, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Al, I haven't been paying attention to what's going on YouTube, so I absolutely have no idea.
Yeah, Rocco, I think so too. And this is, look, I was thinking about this too. You're like, okay, was this a problem prior to alcoholism? Does alcohol exasperate it? Is it, I mean, you know, there's so many different scenarios that could be happening. You know who could best answer that? Her family. And I'm not trying to throw her siblings under the bus or anything, but her siblings have dealt with this for years. Imagine how hard it is for them. I can only imagine the hell they've been through. I know the shit I've been through.
Me too.
You know, and I thought, man, I would love to ask Irish Jessie, hey, was she lying like this prior to her drinking? It would probably help with some kind of diagnosis for the doctor or something if she would ever get help.
No, I totally get you, Rocco. Caring about the person is totally different from caring about the addiction. They're two different things, you know.
Oh yeah, two totally different things. It really is, and it is hard to separate it sometimes. And you know me, look, Jenna, you can vouch for me on this one. I'm pretty passionate about it.
Yeah.
I have a very hard time keeping my mouth shut. And you know what would have happened if I had gone in that Discord? It would not have been pretty.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to say this. You remember there was a live not too long ago that Susan did. 6 up. Now, y'all, this is going to be an unpopular opinion. It's, you know what? It's fine. It's my opinion. It's where I'm sitting. I'm looking at it and I'm just going, wow. Okay. She came in, balls to the wall, metal to the pedal, and called Susan's ass out. There are some people upset about that. I get it. But I also sat back and I said, well, that's 6 up, man. I just wonder, has anybody ever been to AA meetings or Al-Anon or NA, NARNA, whatever? Have you sat down with sponsors and heard them interacting with people? Because some of the best sponsors I know are just like 6 up. They are. And I'll say this too. Some of the best sponsors are those who have fallen off the wagon multiple times. And they pick themselves up and get right back on. Just
I will
where,
say this: what happens on here is totally different from what happens in real life. Now, in real life, yes, I'm going to hold someone accountable, and I'm going to hold myself accountable. But on here, before I realized everything, I was like, look, if she's going to drink, she's going to drink regardless, But because it's not my business,
Yeah.
But before all this stuff come out and the lying and the deception and stuff like that, I think people do need to. Of course you're gonna want the best for someone like that. You don't want a dogger and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, hold them accountable for their actions.
Well, I've yet to meet an addict that doesn't lie and doesn't manipulate.
Yeah.
That's a really strong trait with addicts.
It is. It really is.
It really, it's a strong one.
Right, Georgia. Well, that's something she has to live with. It's nothing that we can change.
No, and I'd like to point out, you remember when 6 Up came in calling her out saying you're drinking right now, and Susan kept saying, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. It took 6 Up backing her in a corner, and she finally fessed up to it, saying, yeah, I was drinking. Six Up called me out. She knew it, blah, blah, blah. Well,
right.
She needs a 6 Up sponsor in her life is what she needs.
Yeah, but
in my opinion.
The first step is for her to be able to get that help on her own. She has to want it.
Oh, she's the only one who can do anything about it.
Nope, nobody else, regardless of how much they talk to her. And I hate to say it, people have invested so much time into Susan, so much energy into Susan, over the years and, recently and stuff like that. I don't get it. And I know you don't never want to give up because I understand that. Sometimes you just have to back away and love from a distance,
Well, look at it like this. She's the only one who has the power to stop drinking.
Yep. She sure does.
She's the only one who's able to do that. Nope.
I thought I had my phone on. Yeah, I gotta excuse me. I'm gonna turn my camera off. I am tired. I'm not high.
Yeah. Oh no, we're talking about addiction. Don't say that.
I'm just saying I'm tired. I am very tired. I am so tired.
I got you. I know. I understand that one. But I'll say this too: is that I went there, man. Growing up, my mom, we used to go to Al-Anon meetings. And then into adulthood, I had to start attending Nar-Anon meetings. Not by my own choosing, that's for sure. But it was very enlightening. I listened to a lot. I've watched a lot. So many different stories. People battling with addiction, it's crazy. And this is, addiction is not a financial problem. It's not a location problem of, oh, I live here and so I'm an addict. No. Addiction is not just getting drugs off of the street. It's not just getting alcohol. You very much can have an addiction when you get a doctor's note that prescribes you medication.
You're right.
There have been attorneys, doctors, nurses with addiction problems.
Yes, it is sad.
It is. Now, here's the thing, too. I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, you can sit there and say, oh, I don't have a problem. I'm not an addict. I'm this, that, and the other, Well, when you go and you get prescriptions from a doctor and it screws you up so bad, it fucks you up, you passing out, you drooling on yourself, you doing whatever.
Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Amanda. You choose to ride out the high instead of going and telling your doctor, hey, man, this stuff's really messing me up. We need to adjust this. That's being an addict right there.
Sad.
It's and then you have addicts who trade one for the other. They think alcohol's okay because you can purchase it over the counter. You can go to the store and buy it, and of course, it's the easier one because it is legal. You can't go and, arrest somebody for buying alcohol unless they're underage or buying for a minor. But, I mean, Lord have mercy, y'all. It's just totally crazy and insane. And it is always hard to wrap your mind around. I know that I had to learn very quickly. Addiction, look, your addiction is not mine. It is not about me at all. Not at all.
She's not back in.
Had people very close to me that I had to really dig my heels in and have those boundaries. And I'm really good with the boundaries, y'all. I'm really good with it. So much so that I'm the bitch. I'm the cold-hearted one. I am just mean and just horrible because I dig my heels in and I have my boundaries. So, you see, with addiction, when I have my opinion on things or I have my thoughts on it, I have my boundaries. I don't have to have an army behind me. I will stand alone. I most certainly have. I have stood alone with it. And you know what? I'm good because guess who came out of it just fine?
I'm gonna mute real quick. I got a call for Skylar.
Okay. And had other people have to say, yeah, you were, yeah, you did see things for what they were. And that's, I'd do it again, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Sometimes it is harder to stand alone, to be the one that's the quote unquote mean person, I just whatever, right? I'm completely okay with that because I know when I'm face to face with an addict who walks into my home and I am having to deal with them one-on-one. I am completely fine with where I set my boundaries. I am completely
Yes.
fine.
I am
Yeah,
in one-on-one, like life, you know.
yeah, yeah.
And I
So,
am here on YouTube as well. Like, you know, I know where to set my boundaries with a person. You know, you have to know where your boundaries are.
yeah,
Because it's hard dealing with an addict, even though you love them, you know.
yeah.
And
And I get it where, everybody has different boundaries, different opinions. I get it. I respect that. Your boundaries, your opinions, they are completely for you. They do not affect me in any kind of way. I'm not the addict, okay? So, if people are, some people are going to be more hands-on. They're going to be in there doing this, doing that. For me, like with the Susan situation, nope, I'm not going in.
I went in one time and I seen what I needed to see, and I was like, no, no more. I will
You,
not. I'm sorry.
you had to bounce out, huh?
Yeah, having to live,
I,
dealing with it in real life and then going there and seeing, and I'm not hating on her or nothing, but when you deal with it in everyday life and then you go and try to help someone on the internet, you can't help someone who don't want to be helped. And I'm not dogging on her because, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I know how hard it is, but every addiction is hard as well. I mean, I'm not judging no one for addiction because people in addiction, they need love as well.
oh,
Sometimes
absolutely.
you just gotta set that boundary. Like, look, I love you, but until you get yourself together, then we just don't need to be associated with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, which is, on the flip side of the coin, I don't believe in treating addicts horribly. I don't believe in calling them horrible names.
I don't either.
Um, they
I
are
don't
human
either.
beings, and I think it's really important to remember you have the addict and you have the person, and they're two totally different things. So you don't have to love the addict. You don't love the addiction part, but you love the person because that
Yeah.
person is still in there somewhere. Even though they don't love themselves and respect themselves, doesn't
Right.
mean that, other people don't have to. Yeah, tough love is hard. It is hard, especially if you're standing on your own, Georgia. Look, I know, but that's okay. I still feel very, very good about my choices and my decisions and my boundaries and my heels. They still hurt a little bit, but they're dug in when they need to be. You know? Yeah, yeah, Georgia, she does. And you know what? That's her. That that's an addict being an addict and whatever else she's got going on in her mind. You know, that's exactly who she is. Does any of it surprise me? Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If y'all wonder what I'm looking at, my dog got out at 7 o'clock this morning. I haven't seen her since.
She's trying to get her to come home.
Yeah, bother me.
Yeah. I know they'll sit there. Addicts will sit there and lie. They
Yeah,
will
they
lie
will.
to your face.
They will.
And here's the thing too. Just because somebody is a quote unquote sober addict, those behaviors and actions are still there. That's why when they say there's a lot of work on addiction, there's so much work to be done. Because you still have behaviors that if you don't get the help for that, they very much are. It's just such an intricate situation. And man, I'd hate to be an addict these days out there trying. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't know. And bless people. I tell you what, bless y'all going in trying to support Sue. And I say trying because she only allows so much support to be given. You know, you can only support those who are willing to accept the support, you know? I just, I'm out. I had to bounce on that one, y'all, because I got people very close to me and, you know, off of YouTube, family members that are struggling
too.
with it.
Me
And
too.
yeah, and I'm like, that's where my energy has to go. Those are, you know, my heart's going to be broken. That's where it's going to be broken at. And, you know, I have to say, one of the hardest things is to sit there and put a stiff upper lip when you just want to break down and cry and just collapse in just a heap in the corner somewhere. And, you know, you're just begging that, you know, come on, get sober, stop using. And, you know, there isn't a damn thing you can do.
Georgia.
You can't make them stop.
I know this
If we
is a
could,
touchy topic. It really is. It really is.
oh, it really is. I mean, you
Because
know,
I think it's affected everybody's life. In one way or another, it has affected everybody's life.
I think it has. I think a lot of people are affected by addiction. And it's, you know, it's not just the addict that has, you know, their wrath, shall we call it, spreads far and wide.
Mm-hmm.
The family, first and foremost, the family who's had to live and endure it for years. For years. You know, unfortunately, my sister did get the call. I'm tired of those fucking calls coming in, guys. I'm tired of them. And you know, you get the call that, you know, your loved one is gone because of fucking addiction.
Mm.
Yeah, I hate addiction. I do. Am I ever mad at my brother because he lost his life to addiction? No. And then that is one thing I will honestly sit here and tell you. My older brother passed away from addiction.
Yeah.
That's been over 20 years now. Our baby brother, y'all know, he ended it himself, took himself out. We're coming up on 2 years on that. I can tell you honestly, I have never been mad at either one of them. I cannot be mad at them. I loved them too much to be mad at them. Does my heart hurt? Absolutely.
That's how it is with my
Yes.
brother, Ryan, the one that I posted his song, you know, him playing the guitar, you know,
Yeah.
addiction took him
It,
out.
it's it
You know,
it sucks. But and it's a real thing. And it can really happen. I have a nephew right now who I cringe when I look at his pictures. And I won't tell you what pictures they are, but you can use your imagination.
yeah.
He got, well, I'll just tell you, he got picked up for something else, right? And we see his mugshot. And I cringe because
Yeah.
he's a skeleton. Okay? And I dread if that next call, or really what I feel in my heart is, when is that next call coming in? That makes me mad. That makes me mad. I don't want addiction to be around. I don't want it to be an issue anymore. But that's not reality. The reality is that it is an issue. And you know, I can tell you, for me, addiction has affected my life in more ways than I could even. I never thought it would affect me, my life, the way it has. My family, right? I mean, I think most people could probably agree with that. That you just
Hey,
don't think
Fancy.
that it would affect you like that. Yeah, Georgia, I'm tired of them calls too. I really am. Fancy. Love you, Fancy. And I know for
Hey, Fancy.
Whether you're drinking alcohol, whether you're doing prescription drugs, or whether you're doing illicit street drugs. Guess what, guys? That call can come in no matter what addiction your choice is when it comes to things like that. Now, gambling addiction, you probably be all right on. That may not, you may be destitute and on the street, but you probably aren't going, you know, meet your end by gambling too much. I'm just saying, chances of that one happening probably are pretty slight. But it just addiction is just it's a taboo subject, isn't it? People don't like to always talk about it. It's not a pretty thing. And this is the other thing. When someone goes in, balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, and they hold somebody accountable, and I know, some people say 6 Up is really rough. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Guess what? Addiction isn't pretty, and neither is the way you deal with it.
Yeah.
Holding someone accountable, hardcore, and not allowing them to sit there and lie. That's man, y'all, it's brutal. I ain't got to look, man. I tell you what, it's hard, and if you're in that kind of thing, you've worked a program, then you don't. I've seen them do it so many times. You don't back down. You do not back down. You do not sit there. You don't take the lie. And that seems brutal. It does. And unfortunately, addiction is brutal.
It is. Sorry, I got a lot of stuff going on over here. I'm muting left and right.
Hey, I know Charlie girl, she's in bed sleeping. Others were shunned for standing up. What do you mean, Irish Jesse? Yeah, Georgia, that's true. Accountability.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, taking accountability, I don't know. I wasn't in, close like that.
No, I stay on the outside of that. Like I said, my heart bleeds for the family because addiction just affects so many people.
Oh,
it does. Everyone saw the destruction and still stayed silent. Well, I don't know, Irish Jesse. I think there were a lot of people who were saying something. And there's just, for me, I'm not in her Discord calls. I don't think I've ever been on a Discord call with Susan.
Well, I have been in there, and they wasn't quiet. They might not have said nothing on YouTube, but there was a lot of people in there that held her accountable for everything. Just didn't do it here. So.
Yeah, Rocco said I knew what would happen every time I spoke, but I didn't care. See, Rocco, I couldn't go in because I knew it would be a knockdown, drag out fight. Because I'm kind of, I'm kind of more like 6 Up when it comes to that.
Yeah, you just don't, and that's okay. That's who you are. Me, look, in real life is a total different story than YouTube. Because you don't know somebody's mental state, and I wasn't there for the whole thing, and I'm not about to put someone over the top. That's something I'm not going to do. But if you are in my real life, you've seen me act in real life. I don't play about that stuff. I have my boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in real life, it's totally different from YouTube. And now, if it was one of my sisters, like y'all, most definitely, But
yeah,
I'm not going to sit there and do that. It's not my place to, and I know I can't help no one on here on this platform. I'm not a doctor.
No.
But
I'm not a doctor. Irish Jesse said 6-Up's approach is exactly the same as mine. Look, Irish Jesse, and I know that, you know, like I said, people think 6-Up's approach is brutal. But how many times, Jenna, how many times have you heard me, you know, I said, well, I see where she's coming from.
Yeah, you've said it a lot of times.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, some of the most successful sponsors in NA are the 6-Ups of the world right there. The NA meetings are brutal. I got to say. You can't go in there and think that people are going to coddle you. They're not. It's just not the way it works. And it's tough, but it's the way it is, you know. And they have, you know, I'm telling you, some of the best people, you know, they've had the best success. Okay. Some of the ones that had the best success in maintaining the sobriety had 6-Ups in their corner. They did. And that, you know, because they needed that swift kick in the ass. Yeah, Georgette, exactly. Nothing you say is going to make a difference. It's like, you know, you can sit there and tell someone, hey, you know, and they could sit there and tell you they're not going to drink. They're not going to go out and use. And next thing you know, you see him at the bar. You see him with, or you go out to your trash can and you see all the alcohol in it. You know, the empty bottles and stuff. Yeah. Now, you can't tell me I'm crazy and that I'm the meanie, because that shit sure wasn't mine. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. When they sit there and they lie so much, look, I'm going to tell you. In a recent situation, more recent for me, you know, was this person who was in my home, was not one of my children or my husband or anything, was a guest in my home. And I saw all kinds of red flags. And then I saw more and more. And so I had to dig my heels in. And it put me in a predicament, y'all. Predicament, when I tell you. I stood alone. I was completely alone in my own home when it came to this situation. Nobody else understood it. Nobody else saw it. Nobody else wanted to see it. They didn't understand the scope of it, I guess. I don't know. You know what? I had to dig my heels in. And I'm okay with it. I am still completely good with where I stood on that. And, you know, I'm like, look, I was married to an alcoholic for quite a while. I'm not doing this shit again. And then, you know, I said, this is my home. Get out. I did. I said, do not come on my home. Don't come on my property. Don't come in my home. And it caused a lot of friction. I don't care. I mean, there were some things that came at me. Some of the comments that were made. And they just couldn't understand. I was just being so mean, so cold-hearted, that I wouldn't let this person come in. My response? Just looked at him and I said, and I can't believe that you would expect me to have someone like that around me in my home. Put it right back on him. There you go. Put it right back on him. I'm not doing it. The shit I've seen? No. I can't even. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but I'm just going to tell you there was some shit. And I'm not doing it. The comments that I heard this person make? No. Absolutely not. Oh, yeah. They'll try to find all kinds of ways to hide it. Yeah, Georgette, they absolutely do. That's your thing. They got to lie. They got to manipulate. Convince people that you're the bad one. They get good. They good. You know, they try to. They try to be good at their craft, but Find something else to do. You know what you could do? All that you spend, all that time and effort that you spend on trying to convince everyone else you're not the problem, that you're not the addict, you're not the alcoholic. You know, you should take that and try to put that, invest in yourself and go get sober and maintain sobriety. There you go. You know what? If they would put that much effort into sobriety, oh, they'd be so much better off. Yeah, can you imagine your neighbors bringing home the alcohol bottles? That's right, Fancy. There you go. Yeah, I'm telling you, Susan needs a six-up in her life. She does. Well, if she ever decides she wants to sober up. Hey, Amanda. I think it would be good. I honestly think that's what she really, she probably really needs it. Oh, gosh, Georgette, I'm so sorry. Yeah, yeah, I know. You find the liquor bottles. Yeah, been there, done that too. But I learned. Look, y'all, I learned. I don't have to. I don't have to do this. I don't have to sit here and deal with this. Yeah, not in my home. And there was a time that there was another alcoholic in our family, and somebody thought they were going to bring him here, and that they would. I don't know. I don't know what they thought, but I kind of had to put my foot down with that. No, I did, and I said, you know what, this is my safe place. This is my children's safe place. It's not going. My children are not going to be around this. We've fought tooth and nail to get these kids in a safe, secure place, and I'll be damned if I'm going to have somebody else coming in here and subjecting my children to that. Do what?
My computer died. I tried to get it back in there.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Some on my phone. No, I'm still trying to find her. I mean, literally, like, she's been gone for way too long. Going on 4 hours.
I keep trying to tell her, Rocco, she gonna come back. She gonna come back. She's sitting out there, keep calling her. She's running around, having fun, like
She's special. She really is special. I'm literally. Have you ever seen a special need dog? That is her. I'm sorry. I just came in here and just yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead and talk what you're talking about.
Oh, well, no, you're fine. You're fine. I was just Fancy said I'm always gullible, and I'm learning people aren't always honest about their sobriety. I'm way too idealistic. I want to believe everyone's being honest. Yeah, of course. We always want to believe that people are going to be honest with us, right? Nobody likes to be lied to. No, I don't know anybody who just really wants to be lied to. Do you, Jenna? Because I don't.
No, I don't.
And I always say, you don't need to lie to me. I tell my kids this, my young ones. I was like, do not lie to me. You tell me the truth, we will discuss the issue at hand. But if you lie to me, then you're going to be in trouble. You're going to lose privileges, you're going to be grounded, whatever, right? So, really hit home. Be truthful. You're so much better off to tell the truth. Addicts, they will, no. Somehow in their head, they think that if I say this enough, it will be true. And it's not. It's just mind-boggling. Oh no, my aunt had horrible death of alcoholism, even though she spent the last few months in the hospital. Oh my gosh, man, I'm so sorry. And then her son drank. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's,
I lost my mama to alcohol.
yeah. Yeah, it's a horrible situation. It really is. It's so destructive,
It is.
you know. And just
People don't think that alcohol can do that to some people, but it literally can. I mean, it
oh
literally
yeah,
can.
oh it's yeah, it's a hard one to see and to watch. It really is, and because it is so readily available, as long as
It
you're over
is.
21.
The thing about it is, and I'm not talking about marijuana. Listen, okay, and I'm gonna say this: marijuana. I think they should legalize that because you don't see no one going out there, and it is a herb to me.
Well, some states have legalized it,
But marijuana does not make you go out and do stupid stuff. And yeah, I mean, you just sit there and you just chill. Maybe make you overeat, but it has a lot of things that it helps with. Like it helps with some cancer and stuff like that.
nausea, pain. I mean, there are some good attributes to it.
But alcohol I mean, any type of addiction destroys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fancy, exactly. Why lie? It's not necessary. It really isn't. But I don't know. I don't know why addicts do that. So many of them do. I have no idea why. Especially when you sit there and I'm like, I know the truth. So why? Oh, you want to play this song and dance? Because I'm not. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm already telling you I know. But yet you're still continuing with this. Okay, have fun. Because you're continuing it on your own. Well,
I guess I'm about to ride down the road. I'm gonna be on mute the whole time though, okay?
okay. Hopefully you'll see
Fine.
her. See you running around getting music.
I'm here. I just think I'll be talking. I'm gonna be on mute.
Okay. Just giving you a run for your money is what she's doing.
Like she is. I'm just praying she's okay because she got that choke collar on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She should be alright. Hey, Tap Jack, how are you?
Hey, Cat Jack.
Yeah, addiction, I think it affects so many people and it affects people differently and it's so sad. I mean, young people who passed away from prescription abuse, stuff that was prescribed. Yeah, Amanda, that's true. Yeah, yeah, they get lost. I think addicts get lost in their addiction and they're just a shell of the person that they were. It's like I said, you're always dealing with two people. You're dealing with the addict and you're dealing with the person. And the addict just kind of gets covered up. It's covered up. I don't know. It's like they drown themselves out with their addiction. I don't know. And I try to be so respectful of other people's views on it because I understand everybody sees it differently. Everybody copes with it differently and deals with it differently, and to have to stand back and look at everybody's viewpoints and try to understand where they're coming from. You know, and I do feel like sometimes when hey, I try to do that for everyone, and then you have an opinion, and some people don't like it. It's like, hold up, you know. Well, I don't know. I wish there was an answer. I wish there was a quick fix. There isn't. Yeah, Amanda, that's true. Oh yeah, don't stand a chance to it. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It's a hard one. It really is. And I've seen people that you think they're rock bottom. You know, Uh, I don't know. For me, I would think losing your kids would be rock bottom, but it's not. I've got children of mine because people, parents, the addiction ruled. The addiction won, and it wasn't rock bottom for them. There's not a one of them. I keep tabs. I'm just gonna say I keep tabs because if ever, my children reach an age 18 or whatever, and they decide that, you know, they want to have contact, I try to keep tabs and make sure that there's, hey, here they are, prepare them for whatever it is. I can tell you there's not one out of our 6 out of 5. Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase that. Out of 6 children adopted, 5 of them had parents that were addicts. Not one of them is sober yet. The other one was just crazy. Just gonna say that. And for me, that would be rock bottom. If you took one of my children from me, I don't know what I would do. I would go crazy. Like I would think if I was, I don't know because I'm not out there using. So um, I don't know. I would think that would be my rock bottom, but for some people, it's not. Yeah, man, that's yeah. You would think that that would be it, but it's so many times it's not, and I don't. You know, I'm not sure. Yeah, man, I know exactly. My kids is only. I mean, it's like they're my reason for existing. They're the best things I've done in my life. I think a lot of parents feel that way, though. So I know I'm not alone on that. But my greatest accomplishment, my greatest accomplishments in life, are my children, and always will be. No certificate, degree, or anything like that can compare to my kids. Yeah. Awesome, Tat Jack. See, I love it, y'all. Look at that. Awesome. I am so glad you're in recovery. That's awesome. Almost 9 years, y'all. Almost 9 years. That's fantastic. That's true, Pearl. That's very true. Very true. That's why I said if they choose to do so, I will not. Because I was adopted, so I completely get it, and you know what? They may want to know what that biological connection is. They may want to have contact with other siblings. Um, for me, my wanting contact with my biological family was my siblings, and that was pretty much it. That's right. That's right, Pearl. That's right. You don't do it. That's why I say, I'll keep that door open if they choose to do so. But see, I got lucky because my mom was very supportive. She said whatever I chose to do, if that's what I wanted at this point, because my children are minors and they are in my care, I am responsible for them and their well-being. I do not allow things like that around my children. Doesn't matter who you are. Um, so, until they're 18, they can make those decisions on their own. We have had a couple of situations where if the parents were sober and doing well, they were supposed to have been able to have contact. We agreed to that. It, however, has not worked out. So there's that. Not my choice. They are the ones who did that. And when you have kiddos, they have siblings that I'm sure they will want to contact. Oh, Amanda. Friday got sent to the wrong address. Gonna take my babies back. Yeah, no. Your babies are your babies. They're there for you. They're gonna be there for a while. They're gonna be there. The mine's still here. Mine's still around. They're still around, I'm telling you. They keep coming back home. They keep coming back home, and they're here, and they got some that are married. They got babies. I'm good. I'm happy. Yeah, but see, for me, for my kiddos, because I was 4 when it was my 4th birthday when I met my parents, and I had memories, right? My mom never lied to me. She never, she always maintained the names. She made sure she, held on to all the information that she could. And she always told me that, if you choose to do so and, you're old enough, you want to find them, you need to have the information that you can do so. And I want that for my children as well. Because I do think it is important, especially for that sibling contact. When I tell you my siblings were my drive to find my birth family, that was it for me. That was my push. Everybody else was, hey, how you doing? I mean, when you call and you talk to someone and they say, and this is your birth family, right? Your aunts and stuff like that, and they say to you, we always wondered what happened to you. What the fuck? What? Yo, that was crazy as hell. Okay. Well, okay, cool. You always wondered what happened to me. Oh, well, could you tell me where my brothers and sisters are, please? They didn't know what happened to them either. So there you go. I'm sitting there perplexed, going, "What do you mean you don't know what happened?" Oh, Pearl, yes, yes, yes. And that's why I said, I keep tabs. I keep tabs on what's going on. Unfortunately, I do fear that when a couple of my kiddos get old enough, I don't know if their biological mother will even be around. Um, I, I just have a bad feeling about it. You can only go so long abusing yourself. Um, yeah, so that's why I try to keep up, and it does. Like when you have that um, reunification, right? And like you said, the bad stories. Yeah, if it wasn't for my siblings, it may have. I'm just gonna say it wouldn't have been the best story ending for me. Because I remember saying, and I know this sounds. Some people may be like, "Oh my gosh, this sounds so self-centered. You're only thinking about yourself," But I'm sorry. Like, is it too much to ask for you to be happy that, hey, you hadn't seen me since I was 3 years old? Like, what? Because I can tell you right now, if somebody came up to me and they were like, hey, I'm so and so, do you remember me? I would be all over them, just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, so happy to see them, so happy to hear their voice, that kind of thing. But that, I didn't really, I, I didn't really get that too much with the birth family, and that's okay. Like whatever, but it does kind of make you go, man, did you love any of us? Did you care about any of us? Uh, I don't know, but I did have, my mom told me, she had said, sweetie, you're going to get those hugs and that we're so happy to see you and we love you, and you're going to get that from your brothers and your sisters. That's who you're going to get it from. And, she was right. That's where I got it from. And that's really, for me, that was all I really, really, really wanted anyway. So it just worked out that way. It worked out good for me. Yeah. So am I kind of bitter because adults in a situation didn't stand up and protect children? Yeah, bet your damn ass I am. I am. And not for me, because I'm fine. I'm good to go. I got out of the situation. Um, but my siblings spent another 5 years in that hell. 5 years. And all that time, you knew shit was wrong. You knew stuff was going on. And you just let it go. You just let it slide by, right? Yeah, yeah. So that's why I say you need to stand up and protect children. Doesn't matter whether they're yours or not. You see something, say something. That's very, very true. You see it, say something. Let somebody know, hey man, what they're doing to these kids is not okay. So that's where, when I get angry and I have, you know, hard feelings towards something, that's where I put my anger at. I do. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I put my anger towards adults in a situation. You knew it was wrong. You knew the bullshit was happening, and you failed to do anything about it. You turn a blind eye. Oh, because it was your family doing it? Well, those children that you sat there and let get abused, they were your family too. And they were innocent. And they did nothing to deserve any of it. And they were completely helpless to it. Completely helpless. And you chose to not do a damn thing about it. Okay. Hope y'all are proud of yourselves. So I guess that's where my anger when I'm mad about something, and no, I'm not going to be mad at my brother who overdosed. I'm not going to be mad at my brother who took his own life. Absolutely not. My anger goes towards people who failed to protect. And in my eyes, because y'all failed to protect, and in my eyes, and this isn't going to change for me, y'all, that's exactly why I think happened to my brothers is what happened to them is because of them. The adults back in our childhood who failed, miserably failed them. And we see it, and for a long time, I was under this delusion that because the abuse stopped for me, and I know this is so self-centered, y'all, I know, but you have to forgive me, I was a kid, okay? Because it stopped for me, I just thought it was a thing of the past, that it wasn't still going on. Now that's crazy and delusional right there. That's not. It was so not the truth. I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean, children are this? This is supposed to be something of the past. And in my mind, because it was in the past for me, I just I don't know. I didn't think about it. As a kid, I didn't think that there's other children out there who are being hurt. I'd always prayed that my siblings were together. That was the thing that I always wanted, was please let them be together and let them be safe. It took 5 years, but they did stay together. Were they safe? Not all of them, but they were together. And so I don't know. It's just I always feel kind of guilty about it that, I always thought because it was over for me, that I just really, for a while, I really thought that abuse just didn't occur anymore. Mm. And it absolutely does. Absolutely does. That's why I got a house full of kids, y'all. That's why I got so many kids. Oh no. Oh, I had to finally say no more, no more. I can't do this anymore. Let's just do what we got, And then those that had people ask, are you gonna, foster and adopt anymore? No, I think I'm done, And then the thought does creep in your head because people are like, yeah, but there's a lot of children out there that need a home. Like I know. And my husband and I have actually talked about it. Well, maybe when these guys get a little bit older, we could do foster again and da 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 da. Oh my gosh, guys, I am glutton for punishment because I told my husband, I said, no, we can't do it. He's like, why? And I said, because if they were to come and place a child in my arms and tell me, hey, they're they're up for adoption, do you want it? I'd be saying yes. I, how can you say no? Uh, yeah, so I probably shouldn't even do that. I need to probably just let me just love and hug on my grandbabies. Oh yeah, Amanda. And that's funny because you hear them say they blame themselves. I can tell you honestly, my thoughts growing up, because I remember at 3 years old knowing what death was. That's crazy. And a lot of people are like, "Oh no, you don't." No, no, no. I trust me. I remember. I remember thinking, "Uh, she's going to kill me in this tub, right?" I remember not wanting to go down to the water at a park we were at because I knew she wouldn't get me back out, and I could not see a way out on my own, and I was like really young with that. I was really young on that one, and I remember everybody was down in the water, and our biological father was down there, and I wanted to go really, really bad, and he was like, "Come on, come on!" And my brother, Junior, he's like, "Yeah, come on, sis, come on," And nope, I wanted to, and nope, and he's like, "I'll help you, I'll help you," and all I could think is, now you guys, I was like 3, okay, and I remember looking back at Teresa, and I looked back down. I wanted to go down there so bad, but I had said, nope. Because all she's got to do is tell him not to bring me out of the water, and I will be left there. I'm sorry, a 3-year-old should never think that about their own mother, right? I don't ever remember blaming myself for it. I do, however, remember always feeling like she hated my guts. I honestly thought she hated me. And if my mom was still alive, she would tell you that because I used to tell her growing up. I said, she hated me. She just hated me. She's like, "Oh, no, honey, she just had problems." No, I really do think she hated me. I really do. I don't know how you could do that to a child and love them. I I question it. I don't know. Yeah, but no child should blame themselves for any of that. That's just sad. I just, and it's a hard one because with your kiddos, I never want to negatively talk about the biological parents to my children. And this comes because that's what my mom did with me. Okay. Um, and I am a strong believer in that they will see things and they will know things when it's time. And um, they'll have an understanding. If you raise them right, they're going to have an understanding drugs are bad. In our household, addiction is bad, period. You try to have compassion and understanding and empathy, but, just trying to raise them so that, you do understand that, hey, this isn't a good, healthy situation to be in. And this is, you know, yeah, Fancy. You were a target enough for enough shit. You were. And just because you were the oldest, you were just a baby. You were just a baby, Fancy. See? 5, 6, 7 years old. You shouldn't have to be no child. Should have to think, I should have done more to protect them. No. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. No child should ever have to think that or feel that. That's bullshit. It's the parents' job to protect the children. I'm sorry. I feel like I said that kind of sharply, didn't I? It's the parents' job to protect the children. If the parents fail to protect the children, and in my eyes, other adults around, aunts, uncles, grandparents, any of the family members that are old enough to know better, yeah, I do feel like it lies on their shoulders. Oh, Amanda, I'm so sorry. She was, oh, yeah, well, if they start calling you names and stuff like that, they got to be, yeah. Oh, yeah, Tat. Yeah, I know. But you loved her. You cared for her all the way to the end. That's the kind of person you are. Oh, Pearl, yeah, I'm so sorry. That's just, I don't know. I guess she was just so lost in her grief. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just sad. See, I wouldn't want to lose, I don't want to lose any of my children. But my mom used to say it. She did. She told me this. She said, because I had a friend who lost her daughter, but she had her granddaughter, which her granddaughter looked just like her daughter. And she had said, well, she's going to be okay. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, she's got her granddaughter. She's going to hold on to her. And she does. She does. She really does. Man, I can tell you what, I don't want to think about it, but, man, I mean, I love my grandbabies to death. I tell you what, no, but man, if anything happened to their mamas, I'd be brokenhearted, but I would probably hold them even closer and protect them even more, if that's possible. Oh yeah, Amanda, that's good. She did. I'm grateful she did. She had that, you know, fancy. A counselor had me put a picture of a 6-year-old girl on my mirror to look at every day. I was to ask myself how much power does she have against her? Exactly, Fancy. Zero, zilcho. You should have never been in a situation that you felt powerless, right? You should have never been in a situation to even feel like, you needed to protect anybody. Because the adults should have been doing that. But that's kind of hard when it's those adults who are supposed to protect are the ones doing the damage. And I don't understand for the life of me, y'all. These people who take SA, trigger warning, y'all. I'm just going through a couple things, and they sweep it under the carpet and they hide because for whatever reason, whether they don't believe it, whether they, you know, got to protect the family image, they just don't want anybody to know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they do it, but it's horrible. Yeah, Pearl, I know, but see, and I guess it's just the difference that people look at things. I get, and I try to understand that and be like, okay, but for me, I'm like, I could never think that way. I would just think, you know what, your mama loved you so much, but she wanted you to come into this world because that's how I would be. I think if I had that kind of diagnosis, I'd be like, nope, you're gonna have my baby. I may not be here, but my child will be, you know. And I would just try to look at it like that. Your mama loved you so much. She wanted you to be brought into this world, and she knew that it was jeopardizing herself. I'm glad you turned out great, Pearl. Look at you. You turned out great. Yeah, I'm glad that you understand that now. I do think as adults we do have ways to comprehend things that we didn't as a child. I know that there's things now as an adult. I'm like, man, I really thought that was what? Just you see the world differently. You really do. You see situations differently. You have more of an understanding or maybe more of a distaste for them. I don't, however it goes. Oh, see, even with that itself, yeah. I mean, so she already knew. She probably did, Pearl. I mean, that's the thing. Mamas know things. I mean, she probably knew. You know what? This isn't going to turn out good for me either way. Man, Pearl's resilient. You're resilient, Pearl. Got you. Man, it's awesome. It just, which with with Lee, it always interests me. You can put people and have them go through very similar situations or even different situations. One you can look at and go, oh my gosh, that was horrible. And they turn out all right. And you got somebody else who goes through it and they don't turn out so good. They really, really, really struggle. And that's just who we are as individuals, how we deal with things and cope with things. And I was really blessed with my mom, and you know, she's like, oh, you need to go see, she'd go make sure I was seeing the best psychiatrist around, just getting help, you need to get some therapy, you need some help, are you struggling, are you doing this and that, and you know, I remember when we were doing foster care classes, and they were talking about the ladder, and that with trauma and abuse, that you're going up the ladder and it's going good, and you're like, all right, we're doing great, and you get so far up, and all of a sudden, one of those steps breaks, boom, start falling down that ladder. And it was such a great analogy because it really is true when you're dealing with trauma and abuse, and um, you got years that you're thinking, okay, we're doing good, we're doing all right, and then something happens. And you may not even know. Like, you have to sit back and go, okay, what triggered this? What in the world, you know? And you really, like, for me, you know, I'm always looking for things that possibly would trigger my children, that would upset them, and trying to always figure it out, you know, just so that I could try to, you know, stay ahead of the game. Like, okay, we know this is coming. Like with some of my kiddos, like one of them, I know, okay, this is really going to irritate him. This is going to get him. So it's maneuvering around it, how we're going to deal with it. You know, for a while, it was up and down roller coaster ride, up and down roller coaster ride. And it was like, man, this is coming in waves. And those waves got brutal, 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 you know? Um, and as brutal as it is for the parents and other people in the home, it's horrible for them. Try being in their mind, feeling their little emotions, and they have no clue what to do with it. And what way, you know, where can they place this? Well, guess what? They're going to place it right there at your feet, right there with you. And you're like, okay, you can't take it personally, you know, and to figure out what works for them and to process it and how to cope and to deal with it. And it really is a struggle that, you know, and it's where my heart always goes out to them, because it's like, okay, you think you're doing good, they think they're doing good, and all of a sudden there's just boom. That's just how trauma and abuse works, man. And it's a battle. It really is a battle, and it's one that you choose that you're going to win every time, even though it may feel like you're not winning. Okay, like, but there have been times that I have thought, this, and I'm stubborn, y'all. I am stubborn. Okay, I don't admit that very often, but I'm just gonna say it. I am very stubborn. And for me to question it and kind of waver, are we gonna make it through this? You know, am I gonna make it through this? Oh my gosh, you know. Um, is this going to be what does me in? You know, and then I'm like, nope, you got to dig those heels in. Absolutely not. We're going to get through this too. Um, but I'd be a liar if I said I didn't waver at times, questioning, oh gosh, you know, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But then you think, oh, wait a second, I don't have that option. I didn't sign up for that option. Nope, absolutely not. Sign up for the option is that we are going to be victorious. We are going to come out on top. And I'll be damned if my kids aren't going to be better than they could possibly I could ever imagine them to be. That's what I want for them. And if I quit, or if I think, okay, this is a failure, we're just not going to get anywhere, um, then there's no way that I am going to assist them in overcoming any kind of issues that they have. And I mean, I don't have the power to I mean, they have to do it, but I'm not, I've got to be able to sit here and give them the tools to do it, seek the help that they need. That's what we're here for, you know? Oh, yeah, Pearl. Pearl, I got you. I know it is hard. It is hard not to be judgmental sometimes. I struggle with the same thing there, honey. I think a lot of people probably do, you know, because you're like, what is wrong? Are you kidding me? Uh, your life was that horrible, you know? And I do, in my mind, I think, you know, you could have done this, and but everybody processes things differently. And I really try to remember that, and it is hard to, you know, stop and think. They just can't. It's like they're stuck on that, or I don't know how to word that without. I don't want to offend anyone, but it just um, is something that they just can't get over. And then I think, okay, well, you didn't have any kind of help, or you know, in some kids, I don't think get the help that they need until they're into adulthood, and they have to seek that help out themselves. And that's really sad to me. You know, I don't want to be that mom that my kids look back and go, you didn't try to give me any kind of help. I had to do this myself. You know, am I perfect? No, absolutely not. And I'm sure my kids will look back and go, you know, you could have done this better. Yeah, there's a lot of things we could do better. You know, but I want them to know I'm at least trying. You know, I'm at least I'm trying here. I may feel like I'm drowning, but I'm trying. Yeah, and we do. You're right, Pearl. We have to be grateful. And you know, there's a lot of things I am grateful for in life. Absolutely. You know, those hard, hurtful things happen, but there are a lot of things that, and that's what keeps me going sometimes. You know, I think about the losses in my life and how horrible it's been. I mean, it's been shooey. Um, there's been, you know, a few that just, I mean, all losses are bad. You know, like they've all been hurtful. That there's been some that just really, really knocked the air out of me for a long time. A long time. Um, I know I'm still, you know, my brothers. That's a really sensitive area for me, you know, and that's, you know, people don't have to understand it. They don't, whatever, you know. It's you know, it's that heartache that you'll always have. You'll always have. And I just think, you know, there's just so much around it. So much around it. Fancy. I don't know, Fancy. My eyes where I say you are not fucked up, honey. I think you're doing damn good. I really do. I think you're doing really good. And you are healing, and it's you know, it's a pride. I think we're always healing. You know, I think everybody has healing to do always. Yes, Pearl. Amen to that. Amen to that, sister. Amen. That's exactly it right there. You got, if you don't have love, laughter, and happiness in your life, I just don't know how people get through. You got to find the funny and shit. I do. I find the funny in a lot of stuff, you know, and I do think it could be so much worse. That's funny, you know. Um, that's just my thought process, I guess. It's whether people agree with it or not. It's just how I look at things, and you know, I always go, well, I know there's worse out there, and I'd much rather laugh and have a good time and cut up. There's a lot of serious things in life that we have to deal with, but if we let that bog us down, I don't want to be in that grieving, crying all the time state. Who really does anybody really want to be in that state all the time? I don't want to emotionally be there all the time. Is it there? Yes. Is that pain of losing your loved one there? Yes. But I can't stay there. And if I stay there too long, you have to give yourself that, right? You got to grieve. But if I stay there too long, it's not good for me. Quiet but strong, just a little fucked up. Fancy, we're all a little fucked up, honey. Some of us more so than others, but it's all right. Fancy she is very quiet. Me, not so much. I can be quiet at times, but usually people ask what's wrong when I'm quiet, which they're probably right, because if I'm quiet, I'm usually deep in my thoughts, which is usually not a good thing. You never know what's going on in this head, you know. Yeah, when I get quiet, it gets kind of, are you okay? My husband's the one who really walks around that one. So he's like, are you okay, babe? Yeah, why? You just go really quiet. You're really quiet. Yeah, I'm fine. But there are times that I just feel like being quiet. You ever get like that? I do. Believe it or not, I can come on here and talk and talk and talk. But there are plenty of times I do not go live. You know why? Because I just don't feel like talking. If you can believe that, guys. It's true. Oh, girl, I know. I know. I know what you mean. Shoot, Pearl, you know. There's probably times, you know what? You've probably done it too. There's times you're live and you just really want to go in a corner and cry. You just want to be, you go on a live and you just think, not usually, but I mean, you got to get yourself out of those little things, I guess. And I'm the same way though. I work through it quietly. I don't, I don't cry where people see me very often. I'll just say that. I don't like to cry in front of my husband. But I think it's because in my mind, and see, this is something from childhood. Um, in my mind, it's crying is a sign of weakness, right? Which I know it's not. I'm just saying in my mind because when I was little, I got a spanking. My mom, she always said you would never cry, and I was just like, well, no. I always had the attitude, you're not going to see me cry. And I really think it's from my childhood where like, you could beat the hell out of me. You won't see me cry. And that is something that I have carried on to my adulthood. I will say that. My ex-husband, man, when he'd start walloping, he never saw me cry. He never saw me shed a tear. That's how stubborn I am. It's terrible, right? And I know tears aren't a sign of weakness, but I do prefer just to, when I have my moments of, sadness. I'm alone. Usually it's when I'm in my car driving by myself, because that's when I'm actually truly all by myself. Nobody's in the car with me. Never mind, there's a road full of other people, but they're not in the car with me, so we're good. Okay. Well, I really want to say something in defense of CJ. Why you? I had the intensive therapy for CPTSD after the year of medical trauma and becoming disabled on top of all the childhood stuff. Susan claiming to. Oh, did Susan claim? Look, there was some stuff I heard yesterday on Tony's about something Susan had said, which I had not heard of. So it was a first for me. I kind of questioned it, and I said, "Hey, did y'all hear anything about this?" Well, a couple of us hadn't heard it, but apparently she had said some stuff. It wasn't nice. Well, I don't know. Look, girl, you did. Yeah, I don't. That was. I don't know. I was like I said. I don't go on those Discord calls in there with Susan. I can't. So all I could do is take CJ's word and others that were on that call of what was said. My money's on the other people who are truthful and honest. No offense towards Susan, but Susan's not always truthful. I'm not trying to be mean, but if I had to believe somebody, it wouldn't be Susan. And her response was, from what I understood on that, was it was something that was, I don't know, taken out of, I don't want to say context or anything, but there was definitely a twist to it. And Susan made it into what Susan made it into, which that's Susan's issue. She takes a lot of things and turns it into what it shouldn't be. Dad Jack, I'm sorry. I believe you though. Not that it does you any good now, but I believe you. And it wasn't, and see with that, why wasn't I good enough to believe? I don't, I don't know. I don't know, but I would say that's her fault, not yours. That goes at her feet, you know. I mean, I definitely understand that. Like, why wasn't I good enough to believe? I get that. I get that. Yeah, I'm just trying to, yeah. Because I wasn't on that call, Pearl, I didn't, I don't know. Like I said, all I can do is take the word of CJ, and I'll do that hands down every time. Yeah, exactly, Fancy. CJ didn't do a damn thing wrong in that situation. It angers me that Susan turned it into that. Now I'm not heavily involved in the Susan situation. I never went to Discord. I stand by CJ on this one. Yeah, I mean, Susan turned that into what Susan turned that into. Um, I think it just speaks volumes about Susan. And, you know, that look, I'm gonna say it. I can only imagine what her family has gone through. And that's, people, what has her family gone through all these years? And I try to be respectful and say, hey, this is uh, between Susan and her sisters. You know what? I respect that, hey, but Susan brings some shit out that she should not be doing. It says, I mean, I don't know why she does what she does, but she does it. I'm glad I'm not in her head. I'm just saying. And I'm not trying to be mean about Susan or anything, y'all. I just, whew, I don't know. That one is, yowzers. Who are you thinking, CJ? You say thank you, but who are you thinking? Pearl? Fancy. Fancy. You see Joe over there with the sad look. She got a sad face there. What the hell? You got a sad face. Yeah, Susan's got, y'all, look, we got to put it at the feet of the people that it belongs at. It belongs at their feet. When you do these things, it's your burden, not anyone else's. You create situations for other people to have to live with, but you put it where it belongs, and that's right there at her feet. I mean, imagine her sister. Oh, Irish Jessie, there she is. Yeah, Irish Jessie. Look, I can't tell you how many times I've said that. I trust and believe I have. I was like, man, they'll do it to their family. Think anybody, on these YouTube streets is going to be exempt? No, absolutely not. And again, that says more about her than anybody else. In my mind, it does. In my opinion, that really goes on Susan. You're willing to treat your family that way. I'm sure, the hell that she's put her family through for years. From the moment she decided to pick up that drink and continue, right? And I know it's addiction. I know. But from the moment she started, and then it could have been before then. I don't know. Was she doing the line thing beforehand? Because I kind of think there's more going on than just alcoholism. Of course, I don't know. But I can only imagine how. Mm. And I do. I have said that quite a few times. Yeah, blinders are off. Yeah, there you go, Irish Jesse. Thank you. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I, yeah. So if she ever decides, that she wants to sober up and she gets the help that she needs and she does it, which I really hope that she does. I think it would be fantastic if she did. I would really love that for her. And as I said, I always, when I send out my goodbyes, my prayers, my thoughts, it is for sobriety and to maintain sobriety. Because maintaining is a huge one. But I think for Susan, I think it would be really good to do that and then get help for the other as well. Because I would definitely say there's something there. And I'm no doctor. I only play a doctor on YouTube. Occasionally. But, YouTube Dr. Phil here. I'm just saying, I think that there may be something else going on. And it may not, who knows? Maybe it's something going on and it's fueling the alcohol problem. I don't know. It's not a good situation, though. And we've seen her, like I said, all the way back at Molly's. When she pulled that, I said right away, oh, there is some problems here. I said, something's wrong, man. Something is, it's kind of off with her, and I mean, again, I'm not trying to, be judgmental, but I think duly noted, noted. She's, and that's, yeah. I try to accept everybody for who they are and where they're at in life. But Susan's had a lot of people that were there accepting her and saying, hey, you know what? It's okay. We know you messed up a little bit, but and that's a her thing, pushing everybody away with your lies and your addiction problem. And it's sad. It's really sad because people like that, I think, really do need to have a good support system. But when you constantly tear your support system down, push it away, and I don't know. Sometimes I think they do it just so that they don't have that support system and it can be an excuse to continue on the way they're going. Well, when the support gets too good, we gotta get away with this. Do away with this. And if you're willing to do that to your family and push all them away, and that takes a lot, right, Irish Jazzy? I think it probably takes a lot to push your family out. Because usually your family is going to be the one that sticks there for a long time. And they're going to put up with a whole lot until they just can't anymore. Because at a certain point, you have to do what's best for you. Even though you should be doing what's best for you all the time. And it's a hard one when you're dealing with addiction. Because you do kind of put yourself on the back burner. Thinking, you got to help this person out. So, I think Susan's been, oh man, I tell you what, she's been blessed beyond measure. So many people in her life that, that really did truly care. And they really did care for her and love her. And I know family, I know that, I'm sure you still love her. Oh, yeah, that's true, Chat Jack. Being on your pity pot when you're active and drinking is the wrong place. But yeah, exactly. And look, my mama said, get off your pity pot. She would always tell me, she thought I was getting a little too, get off your pity pot. Man, look, you can be upset and work through it, but you better get up off it. Don't sit on it too long. Yep, that's true, CJ. But addicts, though, see, that's what addiction is, though. Like I said, you show me one addict that isn't manipulative and lying. I would love to see that. I really would. I would love to have one person who's an active addiction that is an honest person who's not manipulative, not lying. I have not seen one yet. A lot of times I'll tell you that's what addiction is. It really is. Plus, I think Susan's got other things going on too. Honestly, I really do. Like, it's going, that's gonna be a hard one. She figures out what's going on. Hopefully, like I said, I wish the best for her. I really do. I don't wish any ill will towards anyone on it. In the journey to sobriety and the struggles with addiction, I always wish people the best. But for me, it's a hard no. Look. I don't mind coming in your chat, saying hi, chatting it up, whatever. I'd never be rude to Susan if she comes in and says hello. I'm like, hey, Susan, because me being mean to her is not going to do anything for her. Like, I'm not going to go just be mean to her to be mean, I mean, if I got to call her out on something, I call her out on it. I'm not going to back down on that one. But being mean to somebody just to be mean, that's only my psyche is going to suffer from that one. And I try not to be mean if I don't have to be. But y'all know I can get mean. I can get mean. I try not to though. But that addiction, I tell you what, I think it's hard for everyone. It's so hard for everyone involved. Sometimes I do think, the addict's got it easy, man. Especially when they're in active addiction. They got it easy. Because they're just doing whatever they want, right? They're over there, they're drinking, they're getting high, they're doing, whatever. It's those around them, their family, their friends, that are hurting. It's the family sitting there that's struggling, holding back tears, wanting, praying that a call doesn't come in, that something horrible has happened, and that, all this anxiety that goes with it, and, the struggles that they go with daily, on a daily basis, right? I mean, anybody ever wake up and go, man, I hope the call doesn't come in today? I'd be lying to you if I said I've never thought that. I think it quite often. His phone rings, who is it? Oh gosh, Hey, I love Volta. Canadian girl, y'all sneaking in here. But, well, like I said, I think the addict has it easy when they're in active addiction. Because they're just oblivious to any and all of it, There's no accountability, there's no self-reflection, there's nothing going on but their addiction. Everyone else around. The addicts, from what I see, my opinion is, their hard work starts when they get on their road to sobriety and maintain it. That's when their challenges start. Their hard work starts. So their hard work will start then. Meanwhile, everybody else's hard bullshit you're putting through has been going on. And that's one that these addicts have to look at too. And sometimes it is hard. They have to come to the reality that, when they sober up and they realize people that they pushed away and what they've done to them, that's If you work at 12-step program, you're going to make your apologies. You have to go make amends with people. I tell you what, that's a lot of amends to be making. Some people are racking them up. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of them. Yeah, hopefully Susan will get. No, she's out driving around looking for her dog, which I'm kind of worried. Lord, I'm kind of worried. Because she's been muted for a while. And I mean, how far is she driving? Then I think, oh my God, I hope everything's all right, Jenna. Maybe she just lost service and she's muted, or maybe she drove off, she got occupied, and she's sitting here muted. I don't know. She said she was going to be here, but on mute. But maybe she left her phone on the porch and drove off. She hasn't messaged saying there's an emergency or anything. Look, I'm just going to put it out there. Skylar is fine. She is just giving Mama a run for her money. Because she out just playing in the fields and having a good time. And then she's going to come home looking like, hey, Mama, what's up? Why you upset? I hope. I know. Look, y'all. few months back. I don't even know how long it's been now. It was probably 6 months or a year ago. I don't know. But two of our dogs just disappeared. They were gone. It was Maple Jane and Samson. They were gone. I said, "Oh my gosh, they're gone." Well, Samson is my son's dog. He's in the Navy. He's not even here. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're missing. Like they did not come home." I was like, we looked all over the property, nowhere to be found. I said, "Oh my gosh!" So then we started having to drive these country roads looking for them. So I'm out looking for them, calling them. They didn't come home. Gets dark. Nighttime comes. They're still not here. My son comes in. He says, "Have you called, their dad?" And I said, "No, I didn't call him. I want to have a chance to find him first before I call him and just tell him that, you know, they're missing." Well, he called him right away and told him. Of course, they were a little upset with me, but I was like, "I'm trying to find him. I don't want to, give you a heart attack and make you upset if I find him. But they stay gone for like 2.5 days. I still don't know where the heck they were, but they come running up like, "Hey, what's up?" What the hell, y'all? No, don't go running off like that. Manuel's parent, look, I don't know. I saw a little headliner and I didn't know it was clickbait or what because it was a question mark on it. Will they be released today? I was like, what kind of bullshit is this? I hope it's not true. I haven't watched any of it because I don't see how they could release them when they had Jake on the side of a freaking highway claiming to show them where the baby was, right? Why would you release somebody like that? Now, if they release the mom but not the dad, or vice versa, no, I think the dad did it, but that means that one of them's guilty and one of them rolled. That's what that means. That's what I'm thinking, anyways. Either way, I do not think either one of them should get any kind of immunity. They should not be given any kind of plea deal because they both knew. Nope. And she lied. I don't care why they say no. No. They both look. They did it. I look. Y'all know I don't really jump. I try not to jump to anything, but they did it. In my opinion, I think they absolutely did. And they absolutely knew. You don't go and get rid of all your baby's belongings. Pictures, clothes, all that. What? No. And that baby? No. That poor thing. Mm-mm-mm. 7, I mean, oh, now they're saying he's 9 months old. Like, what? He's a baby. He's just a baby. It don't matter how old. Look, 7 months, 9 months, I don't care. He's a baby. You know what you did. Disgusting. I can't. Mm-mm. I've been following that case, and I try not to think about it too much because it really hurts my heart. You're giving a beautiful baby, and that's what you do. Are you fucking kidding me? Mm-mm-mm. No, it's a hard one. Those cases just bother me so much. I can't believe you do that to your child. Mm-mm-mm. I mean, watching that case, I had all three of my grandbabies this weekend. And I say the grandbabies because my youngest are 9. So they're still my babies, but they're not little. To me, they're still little, but let's face it, they're 9. They're not exactly babies. We're not having to worry if they had to pee or anything. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go pee. No, the grandbabies will still ask for that, and we still have one diapers. And I just look at my grandbabies and I just think, how in the world, the hell is wrong with people? And I think if anybody will lay a hand on my grandbabies or one of my babies, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, he did that, Jack. Yeah, he was born in December. So yeah, exactly, Fancy. Should have been. Yeah, just disturbing to me though. The pictures they show, he's never smiling. Never smiling. What? Uh, man. Yeah, pictures of all my babies when they were little like that, just a smiling and hey. Yeah, because if he was born in December, we're getting ready to come up on September, so he'd be 9 months, and then that. Yeah, because they're saying that it was like at least a month since anybody had seen that baby prior, a month prior to him being reported kidnapped. Yeah, that story, man. And it's so sad because when it first broke, I was like, no, maybe he was kidnapped. Oh my gosh. And you start, hearing all the information coming in, and you're like, this isn't looking too good for the parents. And they're like, well, it's still a possibility. Let's not jump to conclusions. And more information comes out. More information comes out. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I say guilty. And then they have all of Manuel's pictures out there. Like I said, he's not even smiling. He looks very, very sad. He does. He looks very sad. He just has a look about him. It's like that look on his face. He was crying for help. Just so, yeah, it's a sad job. I mean, yeah, you're supposed to cry for your parents to come pick you up and to love on you, not cry because your parents are hurting you. Yeah, really, you're right, Fancy. That's a certain kind of monster right there. I could never, I don't understand it, Joe. Look, when I pick up a baby, whether it was my babies, my grandbabies, anybody's baby, I want them to feel comforted. Like, you know, yes, I love Ulta. Thank you. I couldn't help but wonder. I'm telling you, I wonder. I thought that too. Yeah. He's pictures tell a lot. They really do, and if you really look, it's amazing what they'll tell if you're just looking at it. Yeah, system failed. They did. Yeah, absolutely. It should have been March. Hey, this guy has another kid. Pay attention. But, the court system being how it is, y'all. I mean, you said that you dropped that little girl in the sink. How many times you drop your kid in the sink, sir? That's what I want to know. Because his daughter that he had, he did a number on her, and she was 10 weeks old. 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Mm. I know. I got one of my kiddos, y'all. 3 months old. He was sick as a dog. They took him into the hospital. They had to take x-rays because he had pneumonia. And that's when they discovered broken bones in various stages of healing. A broken femur bone. At 3 months old, y'all. And they did more testing. And a hemorrhage on the brain and a fractured skull. 3 fucking months old. This has gone on repeatedly. For 3 months. They took him out for a year. Placed him back into the home after a year. All for just a few months later for them to be brought back into care. With another little one in tow. Right? Another baby in tow. And when the parents' parental rights were terminated is when the caseworker got brutally honest. And she told me, she said they were not going back. I did everything I could possibly do to make sure of that. And I was like, what? You know, and she's like, hey, they had their chance. She said they should have never gone back. He should have never gone back in the first place. She goes, I do not know why. She said, when I asked why he was taken back there, they said that it was because they could not prove who did it. Yeah. What the heck? What? You couldn't prove who did it, so you put him back in that environment. With the same people who were in the house when it happened the first 3 months of his life. That's some shit right there. That pisses me off, you know? So, yeah, there's some stuff that's really hard to swallow out there. And it really irritates me. Now, I'm blessed, you know, that he has turned out the way he has. He definitely, there's some things that are going on that they attribute to that. But nowhere is he in a state that Jake's daughter is in. Thank the Lord. I mean, you know, yeah, exactly. I love him. Exactly. And you have it. There's folks out there. You're not just failing to protect your child, but you're also contributing. You're doing it. You're doing it. Assholes. I tell you what, I don't have nice things to say about people like that, so that's why I just, you know what, I'm just not gonna say anything. I got nothing nice to say for people like that at all. Not at all. I have really bad thoughts. I really do. And I try not to be mean, but I really do believe there's a special place in hell for people like that. I really do. Yeah. You know, Georgia, I know. I was going to think, if if you don't want your child, then you know there's loving homes that would gladly take them. Gladly take them. If someone were to come to me right now with a little baby or a little child, and they were like, "We just can't do this because I think I'm going to hurt them, blah, blah, blah. Can you please take them?" Hell yeah, give them here. Do I really want to start over with the baby? No, not really. But I'd do it to make sure that child wasn't injured like that, hurt, and that they had a standing chance. No doubt in my mind, I would do that. But these people don't, not all of them do it. They do the opposite. They've got to do these horrible, heinous shit to children. Innocent babies. I just don't get it. I do not get it. I do not understand it at all. I don't think I ever will. I don't want to because, I think if I did, then in my mind I'd be becoming one of them, and I don't want to do that. I pray that they find them. I really do. I want him to be found, and it does sound like, and I haven't heard any kind of official press release or anything. But I don't know. I don't think Jake was out there on the side of the road showing the police where he'd stolen somebody's wallet and threw it. Just don't think that was a situation. So, I'm curious as to what when they finally, yeah, La Volta, see, you take them too. Exactly. That's right. Are there any more? How many you got? Bring them. And you find a way. You do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do, and you'll be just fine. And I would take more. That's why I can't look. That's why I can't be doing foster care, y'all. I can't do it because they would bring me some kids. I'd be like, okay. Then, yeah. Mm-mm. I don't know, but I don't think that's such a good idea. I'd never retire. I'd always be going. I don't know. Our youngest are 9. I just need to have the grandkids. Maybe some of my kids, maybe they'll do foster and adoption, I had a couple of them talk about it, so maybe, maybe they will. And then we can just help them out. That works for me. If you want to do that, I'll go get licensed so that I can be a respite provider for them. I'll do that. All right, Fancy, go get some sleep. I know I gotta go get sleep too. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I gotta go get some sleep and cause I gotta get up and do it all over again tonight, y'all. Oh my goodness. Woo! It's alright, my kids will be at school for another few hours and I don't know. I thought they should have football practice. That'll give me a little bit more time. Maybe. I don't know. Alright, I gotta go because I think we do have an appointment at 5 o'clock. I gotta get one of them too. Woo-wee! Thanks for the reminder, Fancy. You didn't even know you reminded me, but you did. Alright, guys. I'm gonna get off of here. I don't know what happened to Jenna. I'm hoping everything's okay. Maybe. Again, no message saying anything's wrong. So I'm gonna put her down there. And I think she's gone. Oh. Here we go. Kick her from studio. You kick the guest. I kicked her on out of here. Yeah, look at her. Up here being silent and all. Bye, Jenna. She gone. Alright, yeah, I love her. I'm gonna go try and get some sleep and I'm gonna check with Jenna and make sure. Hopefully she found Skylar. I hope she did. Ooh, she's been stressing. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks for joining us. Y'all hang in there. I hope you have a great day, great rest of your week. Because I think when I get home tomorrow, I'll probably be going straight to sleep. It's Wednesday tomorrow, right? Monday, Tuesday, yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be probably out cold tomorrow. Usually I'm on Wednesday. All right, y'all have a great one. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Yeah, I will always be a warrior. You can't stop me, you can't stop me now. Yeah, I will always be a warrior. You can't lock me, you can't lock me down. I will not lay down my arms. Ready to be covered in scars. Cause I will always be a warrior. Late nights, get lost, hard work, the cost. Can't quit, can't stop. This world all cut off. Don't have time to waste, not now. Need to find a way to get out. Cause I'm gone in deep. Get lost in the weeds. You know it's all about the conquest. What's next? You gotta put the work in like you're obsessed. Think about what you want, what's your future? What kind of person would it take to seduce her? So what's next? Be obsessed with winning and your success. Make progress, this life is never promised. So feel blessed, live life, don't be too cautious. Trust the process. In too deep, I'll never quit. I wanna see this through, yeah, I'm all in. And I will hold my head up high. Got what it takes to fight and survive. Yeah, I will always be a warrior. You can't stop me, you can't stop me now. Yeah, I will always be a warrior. You can't lock me, you can't lock me down. I will not lay down my arms. Ready to be covered in scars. Cause I will always be a warrior.